going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I don't know if dominant's the word, although it might be, but convincing certainly is a word that works. Lobos win last night in the pit by double digits again. In fact, by 22. 87-65, they beat Colorado State. New Mexico has played 5 games against the other teams in the conference with winning records. San Diego State, Boise State, Utah State, and Colorado State. They played the Rams twice. They've won all of those games, all of them except for Colorado State the first time, by double digits. That whittled down to 8. And in every one of those contests, the Lobos have had at least a 19-point lead. Well, I want you to roll through that in your head for a second. In every game against the best teams in the conference so far, on their way to their first 11-1 conference mark since they were in the WAC in 1998, they've led by at least 19 and won convincingly. Good morning, boys and girls, and Merry Thursday. Super Week rolls on. More trades in the National Basketball Association. Lobos have 51 new players on the football roster. Man, do we get a lot to do. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. How you living?
Living good.
Convincing? I mean, what's your word for what the Lobos are doing right now?
It's convincing. It's second half domination with what they've done the last 2 games. To do it in Logan and come back home and run away from a team in the second half. Both teams that felt like, hey, we have something to say right now, and we want to be in this race for first place. And the Lobos, when it counted late in games or midway through the second half, I should say, really turned it on and went to another level. And that's the difference. The Lobos have shown that they are the best team in this conference. They have another level that they can get to. And at 11-1, it doesn't feel as close as the standings might show it.
I think that's right. Now, are they by far the best team? I mean, it's going to tell, and time will tell. Will they get beat somewhere? Yeah, probably, maybe not. I mean, I got to believe so. But if they continue to make shots, and I say continue because it's a relatively recent phenomenon that they're shooting like they are, but they continue to get output from C.J. Nolan, True Washington. I mean, they're doing this. Philip Borovichinen had, 4 points last night? It's a guy that you think you're going to rely on. And they play defense the way they're playing. And JJ, I am so impressed by the way they play defense, the defense that leads to offense. the tipped balls, the deflected balls. I mean, hell, you had Nelly Jr. Joseph leading the break after a steal on one run down the floor last night. They shoot 9 of 14 from three-point land. A team that doesn't shoot three-point shots well is the scouting report. It goes 64+% from threes last night, and CJ or 3J Nolan making 3 out of 3 and 7 out of 7 from the field. It's impressive. Is it sustainable? I don't know why not. I mean, what, as you start getting on a little bit of a roll, why not?
The shooting, or what do we?
Well, yeah, the shooting can be sustainable, I think.
To me, even if it's not, this team can win multiple ways.
Yeah.
I'm so past being worried about certain things. Like, they find ways to stay in games. They press you on both ends. They don't let teams run away, and thus they can be in games, and then they can go on a run. Some nights it's going to be the Donovan takeover now. He was definitely a great closer last night, but he still had double digits from multiple players. Some nights their shot's going to be off, and yet they can still score 70 to 80 points. I just trust that this team knows how to adapt and isn't going to fall apart if they miss threes. And then if they have a game like that, then they can look even that much better.
Lobos were down at the 12:51 mark. Colorado State came back and took a lead. The score was 50 to 49, and the rest of the way New Mexico went on a 37-15 run. They outscored Colorado State in the second half 52-34. That's two straight 32-point second halves, and they're doing it. You look at halftime, Donovan Dent had 5 points. Nelly Jr. Joseph at halftime had 6 points, and they were getting it from elsewhere, and they still had 35-31. I think True Washington does it. What he gives you defensively, JJ, I really feel, somebody said, what's one of the big differences? And I really believe their length, their size on the perimeter is maybe not but a big difference from what they were last year.
There's no doubt about it. You see there's a different edge to this team defensively, a different physicality to this team on the perimeter, and that's with Nelly Jr. Joseph being just that much better across the board inside, and it's allowed UNM to be that team. Again, we go back to why I trust them, and yes, it's a question that they're not a great shooting team every single night, but they bring the energy every single night. That length doesn't change. You don't just get smaller in games where you hit their shot. So that's why I like the makeup of this team. And if you have a night where you can go 9 of 14 from three, it's going to lead to a double-digit victory.
Yeah, and that's what it was last night. New Mexico beats Colorado State in the pit 87-65. We're going to take your calls on that, but we're going to talk football early in the show. Lobo football coach Jason Eck yesterday announced his new signing class. It was signing day. 51 new Lobos and counting, JJ. I believe the number was 34 transfers, 17 freshmen, if I'm not mistaken. And he was at the press. I thought he was going down the whole list, right? And player by player. I got a bunch of texts yesterday. People saw or heard Jason Eck's press conference, and everything. People are like, I really like Eck. I really like Eck. I like the way he talks. I like the. Okay, and I think everybody likes Eck. But we're going to hear from him in regards to the class a little bit coming up here in a minute or two or four. Your impressions from the presser yesterday, what you took out of it, knowing that, yeah, we got 51 names on a sheet of paper.
51's a lot, but it doesn't shock me. Like, you got to rebuild rosters. The coach leaves. It's going to happen. Transfer portal is huge in the off season, regardless of if your coach is here or not. There's going to be large numbers, and of course, they really had to do some things. I think listening to him discuss the performance, the accolades of a lot of these players, I'm very impressed with. And I know you've said it before, there's this kind of FCS all-star team vibe to it, and I'm great with that. Like, you want production. You want players that will get an opportunity, but at some point in time, I don't need 10, 15 guys that, all right, you recruited at our power conference school and you never played.
Yeah. All right. Headlines this morning, Jimmy Butler's a Warrior. The Lakers get a center from Charlotte. We'll get into all of that. And Lobos beat Colorado State. Oh, and it's Super Week. And so we're 4 days away from the Super Bowl. So all of that this morning when we return. Lobo football coach Jason Eck is going to be with us before he gets on a plane. Talk about recruiting how the team was received, how the program was received, and what's the role of a general manager in college football. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
51 new Lobos, a new head coach, a new staff, a lot to get acquainted with. Good morning, boys and girls. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Lobo football coach Jason Eck spoke about signing day yesterday and the 34 transfers, 17 high school signees who are now New Mexico Lobos. 51's a lot. 51 was required. I don't know that the cupboard was bare, but there were certainly a lot of empty lockers that needed to be filled. Jason Eck is the first-year head coach at the University of New Mexico, about ready to get on a plane, but kind enough to join us before he boards. He's on the opening drive. Good morning, Jason. How you living?
I'm living well, JJ. Jeff, thanks for having me on.
No, appreciate you. You went out and recruited, and you guys hit it hard. I know I asked you this, but I want this audience to hear this. How was the reception of you and your staff and Lobo football as you went around the country recruiting? How much selling did you have to do, convincing, when you started calling on these young men?
Yeah, I thought we had great reception, and especially from the high school coaches, whether it was in the great state of New Mexico or in Texas, California, Arizona, kind of our other main areas. A lot of people go to that portal pretty hard, so I think high school coaches are always excited when you're coming to look at their high school athletes. And then, when we had our transfers come in, I think a lot of people were really impressed, when they got here. Even coaches I hired, because, a lot of our coaches on our staff were sight unseen. They took this job without ever having stepped foot in Albuquerque or stepped foot in the facilities. And almost unanimously, when they got here, they were impressed by what we have to offer. And, I think we're building some inroads. There were some high school coaches who said, hey, we haven't had New Mexico coaches here in a while, and that gives me encouragement that we're going to be able to find some guys that are difference makers.
Yeah, I know I've used this term FCS All-Star Team, and somebody used it with me last week, and I think that's good. I think there's a lot of players who've played well at the FBS level that started at FCS and were really good, and it really feels like you got a bunch of good ones.
No, we did. And, when you get some All-Americans like Keyshawn James Newby, who came with us from Idaho, or Scott Trey Humphrey, who was a great player on one of the top 2 teams in the country at Montana State, I think those guys can make an immediate impact. Scott Trey's probably got one of the most impressive games in our home stadium of anybody on our team, even amongst the returning players, with 140 yards rushing and a game-winning touchdown last year. So I think we're able to find some guys who are difference makers, and us being at that level, I think we had a really good feel for who those difference makers were.
Coach, you talked about it yesterday, too, but you mentioned your relationship building. It still is very important, even in the transfer portal era. How do you feel about the reception that you got in terms of getting these guys to believe in you at the University of New Mexico? You said it's not just the guys that are coming from Idaho, but you have top performers from other schools at the FCS level. How does that make you feel that they believed in you making this move?
Well, I think building those relationships and building a team are more important than ever. Because I told the team this last night. We had a team meeting last night, and then we had some team building last night. Not even football meetings, just trying to work on those relationships. It'll probably be the second year in a row that a majority of the players on the team at the University of New Mexico are new to the team.
Yeah.
So it's not like the old days when it was just 25 new guys and 100 guys returning. It's with more than half being new, you really have to focus on building those relationships and spending time investing in those. And I think we're off to a good start. I mean, obviously these guys believe in me enough to sign, but I got to do a great job with the players that we inherited. Make sure they understand that I believe in those guys and we need those guys, and I'm their coach. It's not my guys versus the guys who are here. They're all my guys, and I think that's something we still got to keep doing a great job of for the rest of the spring semester as we're getting this spring practice starting March 11th.
One of the things that really stood out to me is you said, hey, you just got to get guys to Albuquerque and they can see the facilities, they can see the sunshine. What's it been like for you in Albuquerque, New Mexico, experiencing the pit as you built this team over the last few weeks?
I've been loving it. I've been loving this weather. I mean, this weather is incredible. I went for my first hike last Sunday in the Sandias after the recruits left. That was awesome. Feeling the energy at the basketball games. Coach Patino's done such a great job. Enjoyed watching that game last night. Again, another big win. So many good restaurants to take recruits to and enjoy that. And then the people have been so gracious, and it's been a great first impression of Albuquerque and the state of New Mexico, and really enjoying it so far.
He's Lobo football coach Jason Eck with us this morning. Lobo's announced a signing class of 51, and I'm going to guess and counting as you continue. So what's recruiting like going forward? Because I know you're probably not done.
Yeah, it really hones into this spring practice, really evaluating our roster. That's one of the reasons we hired a general manager, Bo Davidson, who just got here. I want him, everybody's coaching guys up. I want him to be just observing and having eyes and putting eyes on our team just to see, hey, where are we at each position? Okay, are we good enough to win at a championship level, or are we excellent? Are we okay? Is it an area of weakness that we got to address? And we have a few guys who played a lot last year back. Richard Pierce was a starting guard, and Isaiah Silliman played a lot at tight end. Then we're moving him to O-line. Three guys on defense: Gabe Lopez, Randolph Kapai, Dimitri Johnson. But outside of those five guys, there's not a lot of other guys who played a ton last year. So we really got to get a good eye on these guys who were on the team last year but didn't play a ton of snaps. See what they can do, and then also just see how these other players adapt coming in new, and that'll figure out our strategy. We finished spring ball April 19th. That's kind of in the middle of the transfer portal window.
Yeah, another window.
I think it's going to be a pretty crazy May across the country with that late window.
For everybody, I remember going to the league meetings last year and talking to coaches, and we just go through spring and guys are back in the portal. Like, what are we doing? And we're recruiting again. So it recycles and keeps going. You mentioned general manager. Tell our audience because I think this is a new term when it comes to college football. What will a general manager's role be?
Yeah, it's a little different than the pros. I don't have Bo overseeing everything in the whole organization. In the NFL, a lot of times the general manager hires the coach. That won't be the setup, but he'll be like my right-hand man when it comes to player personnel, directing all of our recruiting efforts, streamlining our evaluation process. So we're trying to be efficient and making sure when we're on the road recruiting, we're going to see the right guys, the best guys. We're not spinning our wheels on guys that we're never going to get. And then doing a great job of evaluating our current roster, because I think that's going to be the most important piece is after next season, we have a lot of these young men have success in this Lobo uniform, and people are going to be calling and trying to get them to go into the portal. We got to have a great strategy with our retention efforts, through NIL, through revenue share. That Kurt Roth has worked so hard with the 505 SVF. Fernando's working hard with the legislatures to get some more revenue share money, making sure we're making the proper allocations to try to keep our best guys here. And maybe there's some times where you got to be a little Belichickian and you got to say, hey, you know what, we shouldn't tell this guy to transfer if that's how much money he needs to stay. So it's kind of a new world, and I really thought having him, who can kind of be a buffer between the coaching staff when it comes to the negotiation process. Again, I've always thought one of my strengths of the coach is getting guys to believe, and if you're the one telling them they're not worth it, I don't know if that's great for building belief. So bogus to be the no man.
Now, when it comes to the general manager role, was that something over the last couple of years with the changes in college athletics that you were anticipating if you ever were able to make the move? That was something that you wanted to do, or was that something that came about after you took this job, kind of realizing what you needed?
A little bit of a combination of both. I knew the last time I was in FBS football was 2010. I was at Ball State that year, and the off-the-field staffs have incredibly expanded, at that level over the last 15 years. So I knew there was going to be quite a bit of expansion on the staff, but as far as the specifics on what was the most necessary, I really made this our number one priority spot in our non-coaching spots because of, I think, how much importance it is. And, just my first time dealing with an extensive collective and things, I thought you need that buffer between the coaches, and excited to get Bo. I think he's got a great background, great experiences that'll help us.
Jason, is there a theme with your recruiting class? There's 51 dudes, so obviously there's 51 personalities, but is there, I don't know, is there a type, and a quarterback's going to be different than a defensive lineman, then a guard's going to be different than a safety, and I understand that, but is there a common thread, and there doesn't have to be, with the players that you got on this team?
Well, I like guys with energy. I like guys who love football, who have a little passion. And obviously, you can love football and have passion and be a little bit more boisterous and outgoing. You can be a little bit more quiet internally, but I think you can feel guys' energy. You can feel guys that, when they're excited to be at the facility, they're excited to play, they're excited to practice. Everyone's kind of excited to play the games, but they're excited to practice every day. So that's something we really looked for. And again, want high-character guys. Want guys who are going to come here and be serious, take care of their business, get their degree, not create distractions off the field, make sure all their arrows are pointed in the right direction of the championship behavior we talk about. So I'd say that's the common theme more than anything.
Yeah, and I asked you this yesterday, but I want this audience to hear this as well. We talk about facilities, and your facilities do need an upgrade, and I think that mostly is the stadium, right? The fan experience, and with winning maybe comes that, and it's a chicken and the egg thing. But you said something yesterday about your coaches who get here and see the facilities, and then when the players get here. And I experienced that, when we hosted the New Mexico Bowl, and we had TCU, a Big 12 team, in here, and they were like, wow, the facilities are nice. We love the indoors right next to the grass fields, which are right, accessible to the locker room. The weight room's good. The locker room's good. I'm not telling you that you got the best facilities in America, but people have to understand when you say, yeah, our facilities are good, they're attractive, we got something to come here, but we still need to get better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'll say this: our player-facing facilities are pretty darn good. I was talking to someone yesterday at the basketball game who was talking. Really, it's like some of the fan experience stuff at the game is what needs to be upgraded. A little bit more amenities and restrooms and get the concession line streamlined. But that doesn't affect the players. Might affect their mom and dad. But I think we're in good shape facilities, especially when you look across the whole entire landscape of Group of Five football. Now, I do think the Mountain West is the best Group of Five conference. So in our league we might not be in the top couple, but you compare some of the Conference USA to Sun Belt schools in there, and I think we do have top tier facilities of the Group of Five.
All right. Lastly, is there a position that you're looking at and saying, all right, we addressed it, but I'm not certain we're deep enough? Is there something that wouldn't? You look at your roster, you still need to recruit a certain room?
Yeah, I think our depth at defensive tackle and our depth at tight end is probably not where it needs to be yet. And, we added some guys there, but there was also a few other guys who we couldn't quite, get to commit, get to jump in. We had a couple who, maybe needed one more class this spring and weren't ready quite to transfer yet. They got to graduate where they're at. There's one young man at an Ivy League school who's in that situation, and I understand wanting to get an Ivy League degree. Yeah, so those are two positions right now I know that we're going to be active, shopping for here post-spring ball.
All right. Safe travels. Appreciate you spending some time with us. Congratulations on 51 new Lobos. Practice will start on March 11th. You've been you hit the ground running, you're working. We'll catch up with you soon, but I really appreciate you spending some time with us.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. Thanks, JJ. Lobo up, baby.
Be well. He is Jason Eck, the head coach, UNM football. JJ, I sat in that room yesterday. You were there too. I mean, look, I tell you all the time. We'll know in 2 years how good this sheet with 51 names on it. Right? I guess we'll know. Yeah, we'll know here in October. Yeah, no, you're probably right. You had to rebuild the roster, man. You had to go out and get 51 good dudes. You came in and the cupboard, like I said, I don't know if it was bare, but the locker room was empty.
Yeah, they had to recruit some pieces to bring back, and I think they were pleased with they were able to do, especially the offensive line. I mentioned the interior of that line, players that they're able to bring back that were very successful in the run game last season. And I was worried, man, when after Bronco left the way he did, for this fan base to be hit again with something negative in football. But I think the personality, the vibe of Jason Eck is connecting, and you're going to get some of those people back on. There's always going to be the people on the outside looking in that he's going to say, I need a bunch of chickens out there, just don't show me eggs for this. And I think there'll be a decent buzz, and with the players he's brought in, there is something to say, all right, this team should at least give themselves a chance once they get through some of those tough non-conference games.
Yeah. I told somebody yesterday, we were having this conversation. Bronco Mendenhall left. Yeah, he was a good coach, and it's not the end of the world. It's just not. Alfred left, and it wasn't the end of the world. I think you got a good coach. Look, Bronco Mendenhall went 5-7 last year. The year before they went 4-8. He was one game. And again, I'm taking nothing from him. He's a good coach.
He fires up people, though.
No, he did. And look,
no, not. I think the people will be fired up to prove that Utah State, that Bronco fan base, wrong.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that, and Eck feels like the right guy to do that. But again, good coach. He left after 1 year to go basically home. He went one game better than the previous guy. With the previous guys, I mean, it was Danny Staff recruited that quarterback and that running back, and a lot, and that wide receiver, right, and a lot of those best players. So yeah, good coach, good year, but it's not the end of the world. It's the opening drive. 505-246-0610. Thanks for being with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe.
Jason Eck. You got an email from Carl. Says, is Eck going to breeze him? Davey didn't breeze him because he was afraid of losing guys to injuries. Now coaches don't breeze because they're afraid of guys if guy posts a good time, they're going to bail. Talking about a spring game. They said the spring game is going to be Friday, I think April 19th. Is that what it was? Whatever that Friday is right there. So, yeah, they are planning on a spring game. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. All right, some headlines in the NBA, and then we'll get into Lobo basketball again. J.J., some big trades last night. Jimmy Butler is now a Golden State Warrior. They figured that out. I think Miami was desperate to get him out of there. And so it's a 4-team trade. Warriors send Andrew Wiggins and Kyle Anderson and a top 10 protected first-round pick in 2025 to the Heat. Dennis Schroeder goes from the Warriors to Utah. Utah sends P.J. Tucker to the Heat. And there's a bunch of other pieces, including Detroit, in this thing. But the headline is Jimmy Butler is joining Steph Curry. I don't think it's seismic. I think it's certainly worth note. I think it's sizable. Is this something that moves the needle in the West?
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, not necessarily thinking Golden State should be in the Western Conference Finals, but this is something that could allow them to win a series, could put them in that second round, could be a team that makes them really hard to play. And I like the way it shapes up for Golden State. They didn't have to give up a ton of assets. They really were just focused on this window with Steph Curry. And yes, you might be like, oh my gosh, Jimmy Butler, $111 million. Well, he had a player option anyway for $52 million. So it's essentially just doubling that for
so
next
explain
season.
that, because so he is 2 years, he's going to stay there?
He's going to sign a 2-year extension, $111 million. So essentially just doubles up what his player option would have been, which if I'm Golden State, that's exactly what we're looking for. You're trying to maximize this window, not get hampered with, an old player at that point in time. And when he's 38, 37, still with 2 or 3 years left on maybe a max extension that you ended up giving him. So I like this from Golden State. They wanted one more star player to pair with Steph to see what they can do. And Jimmy Butler, defense, playoff performance, this little stretch absolutely works. And for Miami, it's not the biggest return for them, but they were not necessarily concerned with assets as opposed to the cap space, because they want to be players in the free agent market in 2026. And so they're able to do that. They were able to recoup a first-round pick. And so it's a lot different when you're talking about what you get for 25-year-old Luka Doncic versus 35-year-old Jimmy Butler.
Well, and they get rid of somebody they needed to get out of the building. I mean, they just did. Lakers got their big man. They got Mark Williams in a trade with Charlotte, a 7-foot, 240-pound center who averages 16 points and almost 10 rebounds a game. 23 years old. They give up Dalton Connect, their first-round pick in this last draft, and Cam Reddish, as well as a 2031. Sounds like so far in the future, but I guess, it's still 6 years out. Unprotected first-round pick and a 2030 pick swap to the Hornets. This feels significant. Lucas said that he wanted a lob threat at the rim. He wanted a big guy. Lakers went out and got one. This is a significant week for the Lakers.
It is, and I know Dalton Connect was a player a lot of people liked in the rotation. The thing that makes this easier to handle, they're both 23 years old.
Yeah.
So you were able to bring in a young guy that you can work with. That Williams does need to get stronger, need to get in a little bit better shape, but when you get to Los Angeles, you're going to function a little bit different than you were in Charlotte, because the team around you is going to be that much better. And that's, for me, what I do like about it for the Lakers is it wasn't necessarily, we went out there and got 32-year-old Jonas Valanciunas.
Right.
Like, okay, maybe he would have been better in the moment, but you still get a player that can make an impact that you can use over an extended period of time if he develops into a good starting center.
It's a guy that they may have around for a while. A guy that went to Duke. J.J. Redick is a Duke guy. Evidently, Redick and Williams have a mentor type of a relationship that goes back a number of years. And so in the last 4 days, Lakers have got rid of 2 first-round picks, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and Dalton Connect. They've landed Luka Doncic and Mark Williams.
And he was, Williams, well, he was a lottery pick. He was 15th overall pick in 2022.
Look, man.
A lot of upside. And that's what you're looking for the Lakers. It's this combination of getting something that can help you now, plus an extended presence in the post. And I think that's a little, changing of the guard in that respect. It's not just, you need a ton of veterans put around LeBron James. It's, we got players that we believe can be good right now, but give us an extended window.
I got a 23-year-old center, and so I'm not telling you he's Anthony Davis, okay? So understand that off the top. I understand that. But I got a 23-year-old center who's averaging 16 and 10, and I'm bringing him over here, and I think he's going to get better. And I'm good with that. I gave up Dalton Connect, which I like Dalton Connect, but okay. And I think Dalton Connect's going to be a good NBA player for a lot of years.
You give up a rotation player for someone who could essentially be your starting center.
100%. No, it's the right move, and they need to do that. And we talked 2 days ago when Luka trade went down, or 3, whatever. I don't even know what day today is. But they're going to go out and get a center. They're not done. And the trade deadline is today. And before they hit the trade deadline, they went out and got a center. Lakers contenders now in the West to win the whole thing. I think you got to say they're contenders. You don't have to say favorites.
Yeah, I'm
kind of want to see it, don't you?
Yeah, I really like Mark Williams, and I think this is one where I don't know if any midseason trade is going to allow a team to go to the finals this year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So Jimmy Butler's a Warrior, and the Lakers have a new center in Mark Williams. You can get in on that. Boy, there's a lot of movement, and still a few more hours left. 505-246-0610 is how to get here today. 505-246-0610. You've got emails coming in and texts on Jason Eck on Lobo basketball last night. 87-65. Lobos win in the pit. Another convincing win over one of the better teams in the Mountain West. When we come back, I'll tell you what it did for their net ranking, where they sit this morning in regards to the rest of the league and everybody else, and take your phone calls on the big Lobo victory last night. Valentine's Day is a week from tomorrow, boys. Get to work. And even ladies, get yourself a nice piece over at John Thomas Jewelers. You're shopping, maybe if it's an engagement ring you're looking for. They've got over 3,000 ladies and men's bridal rings just on hand to try on, and they will make anything that you can think of in their state-of-the-art custom design center. It's right on premises, right there in the shop. I was pretty amazed at what they can do there. You got to go out of your way now. Go find John Thomas Jewelers. Why? Well, because they're different and they're better. On Louisiana, 1 block south of Manal, 3rd floor of the Lewis University building. They have been named the coolest jewelry store by In-Store Magazine. And they're the fastest growing jeweler in New Mexico for 3 straight years. Best jeweler in Albuquerque 4 straight years. 5-star Google rating. But listen to what's going on right now up until Valentine's Day. They will match your purchase with a pair of lab-grown diamond stud earrings absolutely free. Wait, what? Yeah. So if let's just say you're searching for an engagement ring and you buy a $5,000 ring, they're going to give you a $5,000 pair of diamond stud earrings. You buy a $500 bracelet, they're going to give you a $500 pair of stud earrings. $1,000 necklace, they match you with a $1,000 pair of studs. This is going on through Valentine's Day. Go by and see them online at johnthomasjewelers.com. They're at 2440 Louisiana Northeast, Suite 310. It's the 3rd floor of the Lewis University building on Louisiana, 1 block south of Manal. It's John Thomas Jewelers.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
The playoffs and the Super Bowl.
Emails, Carl, before Lobo fans wet their pants over Eck, Jeff. I'm sure I can dig through the OD archives from 12 months ago with callers gushing over Bronco Mercenary. Who was the caller that said after the last 4 years it felt like the adults were finally in charge of Lobo football? I don't know who it was. You can go through the archives and find it out, Carl. Let me know. I don't know if anybody's wetting their pants over Eck. I think it is absolutely fair to have a good feel about a guy if you have a good feeling. If you feel the other way, it's fair that way too. I mean, Carl, I don't know who's wetting their pants, and certainly not us. I feel like you got a guy in here that, first and foremost, wants to be here and has embraced it. Obviously, the staff went out and busted their ass to get 51 guys, and it feels like, and again, it's names on a paper and stars and resumes, but feels like guys that can play a little bit, understands who they are, and what they want to be, and has an idea for what the future of Lobo football should look like, whether that's 1 year, 4 years, or 14 years. I don't know anybody, JT, have you heard anybody going over the top on it? Yeah, people seem to like him. I think that's a good thing. And he seems like a pretty likable dude who wants to be here and who's got realistic expectations.
Yeah, I think it's, there's multiple ways this hits. Bronco Mendenhall was a really good football coach. It always felt off last year. Just vibes around the program, vibes around the team, just the connections with media, the city. And I think what Eck does is he reignites that side of it. So I think that's what can get people excited. But I understand, man, it's Lobo football fan. If you've stayed a fan forever, how long you've been here, you can just look at this and say it's more of the same. Wake me when something happens.
Yeah, and they feel beyond jilted, and I get it. Let me ask you this. And I don't know what a fit means, okay? So I honestly remember when Steve Adazio went to Colorado State, and we're like, wow, that doesn't feel like a fit, and it wasn't. But I said the same thing when Matt Rule went to Baylor, and obviously it worked really well there, right? I don't know, was Alford a fit here? Yeah, it felt like it worked. It feels like Richard Pitino works here. Did it ever feel comfortable? Did it feel to you like Bronco was comfortable here and or people were comfortable around him? Like, did it feel like a fit?
No, it's easier to say that after the fact. But
yeah, no, I understand.
In the moment, I was okay with it. Like, he's coming in, he's trying to change the culture.
Certainly.
He has a very specific way he does things, and that never changed. You talk to people that worked with him in the past, it was the same exact thing for Bronco.
Bob Davie won here. They had he went to 2 bowl games, then he didn't win. Did he ever feel like a fit here? Right? It kind of felt a little awkward, didn't it? But he had success, so you all right, well, they're winning, and then when he wasn't, you're out. I think you felt all right because, well, Bronco feels like it's turning around. And again, they went 5-7. They beat Washington State. They were 1 game better than the previous season, and he bounced. I think my message, and Carl, I don't know that anybody is, in your words, wetting their pants over Eck. I think the message is the world didn't end because a good football coach left you after 1 year. And I get it. There was promise, and you felt good about where it was going, and you saw progress. I'm going to tell you this. Whether Bronco Mendenhall stayed or not, Devin Dampier was gone. You disagree with me?
No.
I think he's making $1.5 million is what I'm hearing at Utah. Like, that young man was terrific. He was here before Bronco. He left at the same time. And so how were you going to be the next season? I'm sure you were going to show progress. I take nothing away from Bronco Mendenhall. Really good coach. But you know what people tell you all the time? Hey, you're not bigger than this place. No matter what you do, I don't care if you run your business or you clean the toilets. Place was there before you. It's going to be there after you. Lobo football's the same way. Lobo football was here before Bronco Mendenhall had up years, down years, more down than up. I get it. So you had a 5-7 year with Bronco Mendenhall. Place is going to be here after him as well, and you have an opportunity to thrive. And this guy's coming in. It's different. It's a different vibe. It's a total different feel around there. I don't know. Anybody's wetting their pants. But I think it's okay if you have a good feel. And you know what? If you're kind of trepidatious, I don't even know if that's a word. Anxious, cautious, whatever. If that, I'm cool with that too, man. Because I get it. I know what you've been through. We've been through it with you for the last decade and a half, right? And we're here every damn Monday morning. We've covered a lot of losses, talked to a lot of coaches after losses on Monday mornings. JJ and I have been here with you. So if you like this guy and you like where it's going and you feel a little optimism, cool. And Carl, if you don't and you're like, yeah, same thing, yawn, wake me when it's over, wake me when something happens, cool too. I get it. Right? It's like Bronco said. Remember that promo we were running? You know, whenever you decide to get in on Lobo football, you know, there's plenty of room on the bandwagon. It's kind of how I feel with it.
Yeah, and it's okay to be frustrated, to be that jilted fan, like blah, 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 more the same. But I've been around long enough, too, with all these coaches and working with them and seeing the stuff that goes on that you get a sense, a feeling of, it's a buy-in, a vibe, work style. Like, I'm excited to see what Jason Eck has to offer. You know, it's a 180 from last year, but that does not mean that anything's going to change on the football field. So I think these are kind of two different conversations. Initially, liking the way Jason Eck is presenting himself, how he's handled coming in, trying to retool the roster, establish a foundation for year one, and also understanding that good conversation, being hyped about an off season before spring practice, that doesn't equal a good product on the football field just yet.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Oh, that's right. Feel how you feel about it, and I understand it. All right, we're going to talk some little hoops when we get back. Where are they in the net this morning compared to where they were yesterday after a 22-point win over Colorado State? Want your thoughts on the game last night? Big win, big second half. C.J. Nolan was terrific. True Washington was really, really good. Another double-double by Nelly Jr. Joseph. So your thoughts on that, the trades. Jerry Palm from CBS Sports is a new bracket coming out tomorrow. We'll talk to him about college basketball around the country. Opening drive, he's J.J. Buck. I'm Jeff Symbieta. Thank you for being with us this morning and every morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters.
D1. Lobos outscored them 37-15. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Glad you're with us this morning, 505-246-0610. That's how to get here. JJ, net ranking this morning, New Mexico is up to 41. They were 46, so they moved up 5 spots from 46 to 41. They are 1 spot behind Utah State, who's 40. Wait a minute, we just went in there and kicked their ass. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You know the computer metrics, and they don't have any quad 4 losses like, well, you do. You're 6-1 against quad 4. You've got a quad 4 loss and a quad 3 loss, and Utah State doesn't. Now, against quad 1, you're really good. You're 2-1. Quad 2, you're 7-1. But the 2 losses in 3 and 4 is what kind of pinning you down. Boy, I wonder if they, let's just say they lose to San Jose State, but not New Mexico State. They're probably high 30s right now, huh?
Yeah, they'd be close, and the numbers are fair for the Lobos with the resume that they have. If you just look at it and you don't get upset, they're just behind Utah State. You look at some of the other metrics, there's certain ones that really do favor them, have them, as a top 40 team. They're right there on the cusp. And again, if the Lobos are as good as we think they are, and they are able to finish the race strong, as Richard Pitino wants them to be, they're fine.
Couple notables in the net. You beat UCLA. They are 26. You beat Virginia Commonwealth. They are 37. You lost to St. John's. That's not a horrible one. St. John's is sitting at number 24. So just a couple of things to look at as you go through it. You got Boise State's 49. Wait a minute, we kicked their ass too. Yeah, you're ahead of them. San Diego State is 50. So there are 4 Mountain West top 50 currently as we sit here today. Colorado State last night dropped to 82 after the loss. So that's just one of the metrics. Arizona State, 61. They were on your schedule as well. University of Southern California, who you beat, is number 68. So you got some good wins. Again, 7-1 in quad 2 is New Mexico. 2-1 in quad 1. Got a good quad 1 win the other day. And I again, if you don't understand it, I get it. But that's just some of the metrics. We'll talk with Jerry Palm coming up. Jay, some of the impressive stuff. Lobos have never been 11-1 in Mountain West. In fact, they are now the 8th team in the history of the Mountain West Conference to start 11-1. The last time the Lobos were 11-1 in league play was that Kenny Thomas, Clayton Shield, David Gibson, Royce Only team, 97-98. I'm sure Kenny will tell you about it tomorrow.
Yes, he will.
They were in the WAC. That was the last time Lobos were 11-1 in league play. They outscored Colorado State 52-34 in the second half. They got balanced scoring again last night. 4 guys in double figures, led by C.J. Noland and Donovan Dent with 19 each. 18 points from Nelly Jr. Joseph. Another double-double for Nelly. He had 18 and 11. True Washington had 15 points. Nelly has now 12 double-doubles this year, 8 of them in Mountain West play, 55 career double-doubles. He's one of only 14 players in America averaging a double-double. And, JJ, one of my favorite stats, and these really impress me, when you say he's the only guy who does this, only guy in the country going into the game with over 290 points, and now he's got 300, with 230-plus rebounds, 30 blocks, 20 steals.
His defense last night was phenomenal.
Sensation.
And just quickly, to go back to the net ranking, there's only one team in front of the Lobos with a quad 4 loss. And none of the teams in front of New Mexico have more than one quad 3 or quad 4 loss. And the Lobos have 2. So that's why in a computer ranking system, the Lobos are 41.
That's a great observation. See, and VCU's that one team with a quad 4 loss.
Yeah. So it's not, how'd this happen? Because you have 2 and no one else does. So that's why you're at 41 at this point, but with plenty of potential to move up.
Yeah. Did you say nobody's got at least 2 losses between quad 3 and quad 4?
That is correct.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, that's a great observation. So, yeah, I mean, look, you knew the day you walked out of the pit when New Mexico State beat you. And, boy, they gave you a chance, man. They gave you a goaltending on a 3-pointer at the buzzer and gave you overtime, and they beat you. You need and JJ, is there a huge difference between a quad 3 and a quad 4 loss as far as the computer? I don't know how the computers think this through.
Well, yes.
I mean, I'm going to guess there is. The next team down the computer ranking, the net ranking, that has 2 combined losses between quad 3 and quad 4, you have to go all the way down to 53, and that's the University of California at San Diego, UC San Diego. And then Villanova at 55. Yeah, if you're asking why, that's your answer. The loss at San Jose State was a quad 3 loss, and the loss at home to New Mexico State was quad 4. Now, New Mexico State is something you've got to keep an eye on. You want them to get, what's the magic number? It's 160, right, JJ?
Yes.
And New Mexico State's currently sitting at 172. If they can get up to 160, and you're rooting for the Aggies, man. I don't root for the Aggies, Jeff. All right, do your thing. But if New Mexico State can get up to 160, they got to climb 12 spots. Then it helps you a little bit. Then you don't have a quad 4 loss. But that's where you are. New Mexico State currently is 5-4 in Conference USA, and they will play. What date? Say that. What's today's date? 6th. So they play Saturday against UTEP. They get UTEP at home. It's a big one for them, man. They've lost 4 of their last 5. The Aggies hit a skid. They got to figure something out. Maybe this little mini buy in their schedule is going to help them out. Global fan, I know how hard it is for you to root for New Mexico State, but that's what you want. A couple other things coming out of last night, and Richard Pitino's on this the new theme this week, and he mentioned it at the pregame show. He mentioned the postgame show. You know, the season ends on the 7th, March 7th, and that's when somebody's going to get a trophy and cut down nets, and then the next season, and then we'll see what happens after that. But nobody's won anything yet. I think somebody told me C.J. Nolan said in a postgame somewhere, and I really wanted to talk to him last night, that the team's really focused on winning a conference championship, that's been a focus, that's been, a point of conversation. Certainly it is amongst fans. But Richard's got them really focused. Hey, we haven't won anything yet. There's 8 games left. March 7th, and then we start all over.
Yeah, and that's adjusting to keeping things in that day-to-day mindset. Whatever happens, on to the next one. Get back to work, and all those little buttons, things you have to press. Put it out there in the media. What you say in the locker room, just keep it going.
Text line, I've been attending Lobos sporting events since I was 5 years old, since 1968. I've witnessed a lot of Lobo basketball, seen hundreds of players. Nelly Jr. Joseph is the absolute most improved player I've ever seen from one year to the next. Okay? I would argue Cam Bairstow with you a little bit. I would. I thought Nelly was really good last year. I think he's improved dramatically on the offensive side and improved quite a bit on the defensive side. The difference of not having JT Toppin is there. It has made him a different player and I think better. I think I talked about his improvement yesterday. I would argue a little bit Cam Bairstow, junior to senior year.
Yeah, because I don't. It was to me with Nelly Jr. Joseph. It was just about like confidence and opportunity. Like he wasn't bad last year. It's just JT Toppin took the scoring load inside, so he wasn't getting as many post looks. And so coming in this year, the fact that he's one of the best bigs in the conference, zero surprise there. And there was being discussed last night, and everyone's saying, "Oh, player of the year, it's Donovan Dent, maybe Nee Clifford." Well, who's number 3? It's Nelly Jr. Joseph.
I think that's got to be right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that you can say Ian Martinez from Utah State or D-Dan Thomas or Degenhardt or any of these other guys. I just don't know where you can go that somebody's better than Nelly Jr. Joseph right now.
And just a monster performance last night for Nelly. He drew 7 fouls. He was 10 of 13 at the free throw line. Had 5 block shots, 3 steals, 11 boards.
One of the lost stats on the stat sheet is fouls drawn. And I agree with you. I'm going to point you to True Washington's stat line. Look at how many fouls he drew. And one of the keys in that game was getting their point guard, Casey Evans, out. And the fouls that True Washington, and he went right at him to start the second half. And Evans tried to draw the charge, and it could have been, dude. It was a bang play. I want to say first possession of the second half, maybe the second possession, where Evans tried to draw the charge, and he was out. They're a different team without their point guard. And he's the guy trying to replace Isaiah Stevens, who's a generational player up there. He's a nice player. He makes them go. Nee Clifford's their best player, but Casey Evans is their point guard. And I agree with you. The fouls that Nelly's drawing, look, dude, he had 13 free throws last night. 10 of 13 at the free throw line. Well, is Nelly really good? Yeah. Is he the most improved? Yeah, I'll give you a few over the years. I mean, Daniel Ferris, but I guess we're going freshman to senior year.
I'm not trying to take away anything from Nelly Jr. Joseph, but he was an all-conference player. Yeah. Like, there were high expectations for him. Yep. Coming in. And now you just see him given that full role inside, the ability for him to score. I think his hands are definitely better. He's better around the rim for sure.
Yep. And now he's the best big man in the league. All right, 505-246-0610. Keep them coming. I got a bunch of texts on football and Jason Eck at 505-246-0610. Who you got in the Super Bowl? We're 4 days away. You like the Eagles? You like the Chiefs? I already got one. I'm not watching it. Good for you. Knock yourself out. Do your thing. If you are watching it, may I suggest maybe get over to Twin Peaks. It's a great place to watch the big game. They're going to have all kinds of specials going on over there. You can even get over there on Fridays. All Fridays during the month of February, Friday starting tomorrow, Friday, February 7th. Bourbon and Brews, they're honoring the pursuit of brews and barrel-aged bourbon every Friday. At Bourbon and Brews parties, you can get over to Twin Peaks from 5 to 7. Experience a lingerie costume party paired with exceptional bourbon tastings and giveaways. And then on Saturday, UFC 312, you can catch UFC 312 and the epic rematch that's going on there. No cover, UFC-branded hat giveaways at Twin Peaks. Plus, you can score buckets of Bud Light and bites for your entire corner starting at just $13 all day on Saturdays. Put Twin Peaks on your lunch rotation. Step up that lunch game. Twin Peaks has light yet hearty combos put together for you starting at just $7.99. Great food, savory soups, crisp salads, a variety of sandwiches. It'll all satisfy your cravings, so enjoy your next lunch break there. And no one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they've got everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out their adventurous drink menu, which is second to none. Don't forget, those 29-degree drafts. It is Twin Peaks for everything you want. Lunch, sports, UFC, and bourbon. See you at Twin Peaks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Network.
Super Bowl coverage begins Sunday at 8 in the morning. Tailgate talk on Westwood One's coverage leads you up to kickoff. Super Bowl 59 at 4:30. Chiefs and Eagles. Two Men On is out there. The show comes to you from Radio Row today at 4 o'clock. Van and Fred are there. Coverage presented by Cornish Law Injury Lawyers, serving New Mexico for 5 generations. And airport parking, safe, secure, and the best price to park at the Sunport. Lobo basketball wins last night, 87-65. Big win. We had Jason Eck on with us, the Lobo football coach. I got a bunch on him. Mud says Coach Eck is a proven winner, so yes, I'm wetting myself, and I don't care who knows it. Carl will be eating his words after the season and will need depends, guaranteed. All right, y'all go wet yourself, man. Go do your things or don't. I like the guy so far, and it feels like a guy that wants to be here. And you got 51 new players. Let's see what they look like. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Rudolph.
Good morning. That was a late night, and now I'm driving to the beautiful city. Is Tierra Amarilla a city?
Yes, it's probably a town or a village, but I mean, city might be a stretch.
You can't even find it on Google.
Yeah.
When you try to put in the address, it says can't be found.
Yeah,
so,
city might be a stretch.
Feeling my way up there to Tierra Amarilla, the home of Reyes Lopez Tijerina.
Beautiful.
And the courthouse raid of the 1970s. Wow, that's blast from the past. Anyway, I have a gentleman living with me right now. He's the defensive line coach at UNM, Loney Langufo. And if that's any indication of what's going on, I see the guy maybe 5 minutes. He comes in at 10:30 at night, leaves at 5:30 in the morning. Those are monster hours that they're working.
They're working.
I mean, people think these football coaches sit in their office and do nothing. This guy is out. He's been recruiting, played for Andy Reid and for Pete Carroll in the NFL. So I think the guy knows a little bit about playing on the defensive line. And just the chances that I've had to talk to him, the philosophy and what these guys are doing, it's winning football. That's what it is. And we're, I think, very fortunate, and I think we're going to be fortunate. And I did hear a story, and it really made me feel good about Fern Lobo, that Rocky was interested and Fern had the courage, to call up a Lobo legend and explain to him why they weren't going to look that direction. And Rocky said that's the first time anybody ever treated him squarely in a long time at UNM. So I think that's good. That's what I want to hear. And because there's no doubt that if you look back, Rocky did an amazing job, and it was the saddest day of my life as a Lobo football fan when he was forced out. Whatever you want to call it, it was the wrong move. But hopefully this guy will make us all happy. And then last night, I don't know what to say. I think this Lobo basketball team, if they just keep their head down, they stay healthy, and they stay together, it can go down as one of the greatest. These guys have a little bit of everything, and they can march it out at different times. Dent not scoring, that's okay, he'll assist. Dent not assisting, that's okay, he'll score. True's playing lockdown defense on their best player, but Philip Borovichinen is, I don't know what they did at Arizona to ruin him offensively, because he's got game. He just hasn't brought it out.
He'll be fine.
Yet.
Look, he got good shots last night. A couple of them rimmed out. He's frustrated.
Yeah.
Dent was frustrated the first half. His shots weren't falling. I think Borovich's shot's going to fall. He got good looks. He's going to be okay.
Yeah, and Milicevic, that kid is not a freshman. I'm going to tell you right now. He might be 18 years old, but I talked to him, and he's a very mature kid. I mean, asking Coach Patino, is this where I walk down when I graduate? A kid that has that much vision to want to see if he can make it 4 years. I just hope we keep this whole train rolling, because I think it's going in a really positive direction, and I'm just very, very impressed with what's going on at Lobo basketball. Meanwhile, the girls just need a little luck. They need to hit some shots. Went the other night, and they just could not make shots. It's very frustrating because you can see how hard they're playing. Hopefully they rake their ship pretty quick.
Yeah. All right, man. Enjoy Tierra Amarilla. Safe travels up there. Big win for Wolverines last night over the Ducks, too, at home.
Absolutely, in front of 9,000 people at Chrysler.
Yeah, big
So
win.
I don't want people complaining about attendance. We had almost 14,000.
Nobody's complaining about attendance around here. Nobody's complaining about that. All right, man.
They're not.
See you. Yeah, I've heard nobody complain about attendance at the pit. Have you? An 8:30 start last night. Were there some open seats? Yeah, it was a late night game. It was on TV midweek. People got to work, but you go around the country, see how many people had. What was the final attendance? 13,436. Might have been the largest attendance in the country last night. We want to catch up with our buddy Jerry Palm when we come back. Coming up next, CBS Sports' Jerry Palm. We'll talk to him about his latest brackets coming out, what he thinks, and ask him about college basketball around the country, bubble teams, and where he's got the Lobos tomorrow. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897.
The Sports Animal.
Another big night in the pit last night. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck, thanks for being with us on a Thursday morning. Lobos finished the game on a 37-15 run last night. Outscored Colorado State 52-34 in the pit and win by a final score of 87-65. New Mexico is 11-1 and in first place in the Mountain West. First time Lobos have been 11-1 in league since 1998 when they were in the WAC. They are one of only 8 teams in the history of the Mountain West to start 11-1 and up to number 41 this morning in the net rankings. What does that all mean? I mean, we'll find out as they continue to play. We check in as we do every Thursday this time with our good friend from CBS Sports. He is Jerry Palm. Good morning, Jerry Palm. How you living?
I'm all right. How are you?
Is it fair that I call you a good friend, or should I back it down and just call you acquaintance? I mean,
we've been around a little bit.
All right. I mean, we're good. I just want to make sure I'm not overstepping my boundaries here.
Gosh, no.
Hey, I know you got another bracket out tomorrow, and we're going to start at home because there's excitement. New Mexico team that went into Logan, Utah, and won by double digits and blew Utah State out on Saturday.
Yep.
The 4 other teams in the Mountain West that have winning records: San Diego State, Boise State, Colorado State, and Utah State. New Mexico's played 5 games against them. They've won them by an average of over, I think it's 16.5 points. They've had 19-point leads in at least 19-point leads in every one of those games. They're pretty impressive. I know they got the quad 3 and the quad 4 loss, but what's the ceiling for them? And I'm assuming those 2 losses are holding their ceiling down a little bit.
Yeah, it is holding their ceiling down. Yeah, I'd probably, like something like a 7.
Okay.
Which is, the 25th team in the rankings is a 7. So, or in the
that's
committee,
about right.
What S curve would be a 7. So that's, borderline top 25. And so the ceiling is basically win all the rest of your game.
And they're probably not, right? They're probably going to get beat somewhere, whether it's in Boise or Reno or San Diego or something like that, right?
Yeah, right. And then, win your conference tournament, which, so, as an AQ, and it might even do better. I just, I'm hesitant to be too optimistic because I felt the league got really disrespected by the committee last year. And I don't know that, this is a different year and some of the members of the committee are different, but, I'm a little hesitant to get too excited about feelings on Mountain West teams.
Oh, I don't think the league's as good this year. It's just...
it's not as good this year. I would agree with that, too.
It's not.
That was a magic year for the league, and yet, even though they put 6 teams in, New Mexico stole a bid.
Yeah, which is crazy.
The Utah State was an 8.
Yeah.
I think, right? 8?
Yeah, that sounds right.
They were in an 8-9 game because Purdue played them, and then we saw them.
Yeah.
So, in the tournament, and we're looking at this team, and we're like, this is not an 8-seed team.
Yeah.
Hey,
when the committee sits there, the difference between a quad 3 and a quad 4 loss, and I ask you this because they've got the quad 3 loss to San Jose State and the quad 4 loss at home to New Mexico State. New Mexico State's at 172 right now, which is 12 spots out of being a quad 3. Is there a gigantic difference between quad 3 and quad 4 loss?
It's just a way to organize teams. They'll look at that New Mexico State loss, and it might be near the border of 3 and 4, and they'll look at that differently than losing to a 300 team. So they organize the teams. They have these buckets, that helps them organize the teams, but they spend more time on the actual quality of the teams you've played than that. They don't look at New Mexico State the same as losing to someone like, I don't know, Bryant.
Right. Jerry Palm's with us. Lobos with the 41 net ranking teams they've beaten: 37th VCU, 26 UCLA, 68 USC. So there's some.
The UCLA win's getting better every day.
Yeah.
Jerry, one of my favorite things too about this time of year is all the different terms, and you had some double bubble games last night, and you did have New Mexico and Colorado State on that list. What else did you notice from last night?
Well, Colorado State's not on the bubble, so that would not have been a double bubble game. But anyways, from last night, who's playing well for me right now is Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're actually playing tonight, but that's a team that is really starting to pick things up. No, actually, Nebraska did play last night. They won at Washington. I saw them 3 weeks ago at Purdue lose by 100. I mean, they were never in the game ever, and that was the game 2 of a 6-game losing streak. But now they've beaten Illinois. They won at Oregon. They won at Washington. I mean, that's 2 quad 1 wins they just picked up out of nothing. Out of no evidence whatsoever that this was a team capable of that. The game before that, the end of that losing streak, was a 28-point loss at Wisconsin. So they were getting their doors blown off by good teams. All of a sudden, they beat Oregon and Illinois, and now Washington. And now they've got a schedule that's at least home heavy down the stretch and gives them a chance to maybe make a push for the tournament if they continue to play as well as they have. I don't know what they did differently because I didn't see the Illinois game, but they've turned the corner, it seems.
How about what Rick Pitino's doing at St. John's? It's really impressive. They are in first place in a really good league.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been getting questions about them because I have them in the middle of my bracket. I've had them around an 8 because they had a gaudy record, but their best win was Xavier. That's not a tournament team, So they played a whole bunch of games and hadn't beaten anyone that was going to be in the tournament. Well, they just beat Marquette. So, now that's a definite positive change. They've still got home and home with UConn. They got to go back to Marquette because that game was at home. St. John's has reached the part of the schedule where we now find out how good they are. And, for them, that's a big win. To beat Marquette, and it really kind of legitimizes. It starts to legitimize anyway what they've done the rest of this season.
And their win over New Mexico is looking better every day too. He's
yes,
Jerry Palm,
too. Right?
Jerry, what do you think of
in fact, I probably should have said that was their best win instead of Xavier because it really was. Xavier was the higher in the net, but New Mexico was definitely a better win.
Jerry, what do you think of what we've seen in the ACC the last couple of years, just a turnover at the top? Jim Larinaga stepping down this year. Lionel Hamilton saying he's leaving at the end of the season. A lot of change in that conference.
Yeah. And, at the beginning of this year, Tony Bennett. Yeah. And Tony's not as old as those guys because those guys are both in their 70s. But, I think part of it is just not wanting to deal with the new era and how, players are recruited and retained. It's a big change, and when you get to be in your 70s, you don't necessarily want to deal with that big change. Those guys could, just as easily have retired last year or the year before. I mean, they've been around a long time. Tony Bennett, was specific about not want to deal with college athletics in this new era. But I just think that's the kind of thing that's happening. You'll see especially some of the older guys say, you know what, I don't really want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with this much change at this point of my career.
With JJ's talking about all the change there in the ACC, and there's a lot of nervous people around here as far as coaching. With the Miami job open, Florida State. Have you heard any? Richard Pitino's name is going to come up, and especially if they continue on the path they are. Have you heard anything credible with his name maybe attached to it? No. Okay.
No, I honestly I haven't. These mid-season coaching changes, you don't really hear. I mean, people will write a story and throw out a bunch of names that are just names.
Right.
That nobody knows anything. You can't really actively recruit a coach that's got a job somewhere else. In the middle of the season. So you're not going to really hear much until the coaches' seasons come to an end. Yep. So for Rich, when his season ends, if there's going to be talk about him, that's when you'll really start to hear.
Yeah, fair enough. St. Mary's, I don't know that people realize that Gonzaga is in third place in that league.
I know, that's incredible.
And St. Mary's is rolling the way they are. I don't know if they're the best non-power. I hate the word mid-major so much. Non-power.
I don't use it if I can avoid it either.
Yeah, St. Mary's is nice, but you know what? They're nice every year. 22nd in the net. They win a game. They're going to probably get a 6-ish seed. But how good are they?
I think they're very good. I mean, I saw some of that game with Gonzaga last week. I thought they played really well. I mean, they do. I don't know that they are great at anything, but they do everything good. They're not weak on defense. They're not weak with ball handling, turnovers, shooting, whatever. They do everything well, and so they take the level of discipline, to do that, to be able to do pretty much everything well. And so, for St. Mary's, I just think it speaks well of their players and of course Coach Bennett, to get these guys to play at the level that they do. And they're definitely. I mean, I think they're a tournament team. I have them on the bubble just because the resumes aren't super strong. Theirs is better than Gonzaga's, but I'd be surprised if they both, either of them miss the tournament, let alone both of them. But it's I mean, St. Mary's is great, and I've always had a lot of respect for Coach Bennett. He does a great job year in and year out there, and he does it in Gonzaga's shadow. So I don't think he necessarily gets the respect he deserves.
Is it at the very top? Is it Auburn and Duke on a tier above everybody else?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, those two look as good as some of these other teams at the top are, and there are some excellent teams at the top. Those two are on a different tier than the rest of college basketball at the moment. Assuming everybody stays healthy, I would be very surprised to see a bracket at the end of the year where they were not the top two teams in the bracket.
Okay.
One order or the other.
All right. How do people find you? It's on the Twitter or on the X. It's at JP Palm CBS, correct?
Yeah, actually, I'm on Blue Sky more than I am on the Twitter anymore.
Yeah. What do you like
but
about?
It's still JP Palm CBS.
What do you like about Blue Sky more? I haven't dabbled much.
It's not Elon Musk.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I mean that's I've been looking to get off it ever since he took it over, and that's been a while, and just couldn't because so many people were there.
Yeah.
And now it's a little bit easier. I'm still, my account's still active. I still post stuff there every once in a while, but I'm mostly on Blue Sky now.
I just don't know that I have a bandwidth for another app, JJ. I mean,
you
know how.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, I'm not incredibly socially, medially, actively. I don't even know what that means. All right. Read him. Here's where you can find him every day. On CBSSports.com, he'll have a new bracket coming out tomorrow, correct?
Yep. Mondays and Fridays.
All right. And catch him there. He'll be with us next Thursday. Enjoy the weekend, my friend. Who you got in the Super Bowl?
Chiefs.
Chiefs. All right.
Hard to pick against them.
It sure is. All right. Enjoy the weekend. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Thanks.
See you. Here's Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. And you dabbled in the Blue Sky?
I have not.
Nor have I. I just, man, I guess it'll never end, right? There's always going to be something new and something new and something new. All right. If you like the Blue Sky, that's where he is. Hey, if you've been the victim of a home or business break-in, you know too well. It takes hours, if not days, for police to respond. Just don't have enough officers to cover all the calls they get for service. But when it's you and it's your property, your business, your home, it's important. And you need a quick response. How about 7 minutes or less? It's a typical response time for customers of International Protective Service. I have trusted IPS for years to watch my home. Obviously, businesses do all around the metro. You see them in front of businesses all the time. Why? Because they're working. They keep the bad guys away. You've worked too hard to build what you've got to let a bad guy just come in and destroy it all. Don't wait to be a victim, because then it's too late. Be proactive. This is affordable private security that protects what you have built. Who's watching your home when you're not there? Who's watching your business? Make sure it's the good guys and not the bad guys. IPS can't prevent all the crime, but if you've got no protection, you're more likely to be victimized. The number is 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud
An AM 610, the sports animal.
Always appreciate Jerry Palm and his time. His latest bracket, which came out before, that was last Monday, had the Lobos as a 9 seed, JJ, in the West, going to Raleigh, North Carolina to play two-time defending champion UConn. You look at some other ones, Joe Lenardi on ESPN, and I don't know when this one came out. I don't know what the date is on this. When's 2-4? Today's the 6th, so 2 days ago. So before last night's win. Had the Lobos as a 10 seed in the East going to Cleveland to play Michigan. And those are two big athletic teams. Like, well, you're going to get in the NCAA tournament.
You're going to get a big athletic team.
That's right.
9 times out of 10
in
the NCAA tournament. And for the Lobos, you see that ceiling. He believes it's a 7. Okay, so if you say maybe 6 or 7 seed, a lot of moving parts, man.
But he said that with them winning their tournament. I don't
know if
they're not winning to the finish line, right?
I still think they can, even without winning out, there's enough there that they could get out of the 8-9 game. I do think that.
So you think they can rise to a 7?
I think they could be a 7.
Okay. If they keep winning. And, boy, it would be nice to have that New Mexico State loss become a 3 instead of a 4, quad 4 loss. But, it is what it is. I know a lot of you ask, why are they where they are? Why can't they get higher? They got to be ranked. Somebody came up to me last night after the game. They got to be ranked after this, right? I mean, they're blowing everybody out. I mean, they're receiving votes. JJ pointed out something that, I'd not observed, but he's right. As I'm looking through the net rankings, the highest ranked team with 2 losses combined in quad 3 and quad 4 is New Mexico at 41. There's only one team ranked above them in the net, and I say ranked, in the computer rankings. There's only one team above them that has a quad 4 loss. That's VCU, and you beat VCU. But VCU in quad, well, that's an interesting one. They're only 0-1 in quad 1, and you beat them. I'm not sure where their great wins are coming from either. I mean, it's a metric, right?
Yes, it's not the end-all, be-all. It's kind of just become the one that most people understand, and it's been used, but it's a computer metric, just a piece to the team sheet puzzle.
All right, 505-246-0610. I got a bunch of emails I want to get to you. Where are they? Ken Palm. Ken Palm.
The Lobos?
Yeah.
39.
Yes, they are. Yeah. So it's just it's a different metric, right? And boy, there's a lot of numbers in Ken Palm for you to go, whoa, plus this, minus this. What? What's more, and maybe this was a question for Jerry. Do you know the answer? What's more weighted, Ken Palm or net?
I don't know if there's necessarily a weight to it. It's just kind of like, here is your picture. Here's where you rank on these certain things, and here's your resume.
Ken Palm, they're the highest ranked Mountain West team in Ken Palm at 39. San Diego State is 46. Utah State 49. Boise State 50. 505-246-0610. Your thoughts on last night's roll over Colorado State. Super Bowl's coming. I'll get you can get in on the trades as well. 505-246-0610. He's JJ Buck. I'm Jeff Symbieta. Thank you for being with us this morning and every morning. We appreciate you choosing to listen to 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just
They beat Colorado State, stay in first place. They're 11-1 in conference play. First time ever in Mountain West play, they've been 11-1, one of only 8 teams in the history of the league that has started 8-1. Move up from 48 to 41 in the net. There's all kinds of different rankings. Ken Palm, they're 39th. The last time Lobos started 11-1 in league play was in the WAC back in 1997-98 season. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Number to get in today is 505-246-0610. Emails are coming in, Jeff at sports@olabq.com. We also heard from Jason Eck this morning, Lobo football coach, and Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. JJ, again, and overall from last night, just a good team that's on a good roll, and that hopefully you're enjoying this ride. It's easy to nitpick, they got out-rebounded on the offensive boards. Okay, there's something for a coach to work on. But right now, you've got what I do believe is the best team in the Mountain West with 2 of the, 3 or 4 best players in the league, and Donovan Denton, Nelly Jr. Joseph, and other dudes, True Washington, C.J. Nolan, guys who are playing really, really well.
Yeah, and what I like about this team is there's not one specific way they have to play, and that really goes to the offense. Defensively, they've been putting good pressure on teams really from start to finish, and you mentioned nitpicking. Yeah, you can talk about shooting and wanting to shoot better, but there's games this team has scored, 70, 80 points, and they're not shooting a three-point shot because they have a trust in their just overall offensive ability, that the way they play defensively, and that's what good teams do. Yeah, you have a certain style you want to play, but you're able to find ways to stay in games regardless of what is happening, and that was at Utah State. That was even the first half last night. Colorado State came out, hit early shots, had a lead. The Lobos kept grinding, never felt like they're not going to be within striking distance, especially early at home. Took the lead. Even in the second half, Colorado State makes some plays, and then the Lobos just blitzed them down the stretch. That's what I like about this team, is they're consistent. They know games are not going to get away from them, and they're playing with a ton of confidence right now.
All right, let's hear what you have to say. 505-246-0610. Robert, good morning. Thanks for holding here on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Robert.
Yeah, hey, good morning. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that the Lobos haven't moved it further up in the rankings. However, they're still in a pretty good spot. They're in front of some good schools, Texas and Oklahoma are a couple of them. But also, I guess based on the league this year being down and the past history, the Lobos' performance in the NCAAs, as far as I can remember, they've only won one game in the history of the NCAA tournaments. So, they have a lot of work to do. They still have to prove themselves as a team to be reckoned with. And they have over the past 2-3 years. I think we've done that. But it goes to show you we have a lot of work to do. Even though we're doing well this year, we still need to, if we do make it to the tournaments, at least win 1 or 2 games to, once you start doing that, you're going to be a powerhouse. And I think we're well on the way. If we can keep our coach and keep these players, it's a whole different, like you were saying this morning, the coaches don't even want to get involved anymore because it's not going to be the same team from year to year. You you invest in one person and he's gone the next season. So it's a whole different ball game. But I hope, and I understand now the state is going to put up some money to
No, they're
pay
looking
some
at
of
it.
these.
Yeah, there's a bill to help them with their NIL. Yeah, Robert, let me going to correct a few
Anyway,
things for
yeah,
you.
it's a mess. Okay, have a great day.
All right, you
Go
too.
United.
Yep. All right. First of all, what do you say? They've only won one game in the history of the NCAA tournament. That's just not correct. Okay. I mean, when that run from 97, 98, 99, 2000, Kenny Thomas's 4 years, they won a game in the tournament 4 years in a row. Their last win, JJ, am I wrong? Their last win in the tournament was in 2012. They beat Long Beach State in 2012 and lost to Louisville after that. 2013, they got back, lost in the first round to Harvard. 2014, they got back, lost in the first round to Stanford. And then 2024 was their first time back in a decade. Last year, they lost in the first round to Clemson. But in 2010, they beat Montana. In 1999, Kenny's last year, they beat Missouri. They beat Butler the year before that. They beat Old Dominion the year before that. They beat Kansas State the year before that. You go back to the 70s, they won. Look, I'm not telling you they got a rich history in the NCAA tournament, but they won more than once. Now,
yeah, so to his point, could that factor in the minds of, say, an AP voter? Sure. And a name brand's been there, done that, top 25. That has nothing to do with any of the stuff that goes in an NCAA tournament resume.
That's correct. I'm going to be interested to see how the committee treats the league, and I'm going to be interested to see how the league responds the rest of the way through the season. You got 4 teams currently top 50 in most of the metrics, whether it's team sheet rankings, whether it's net rankings, whether it's Ken Palm, whatever. This team sheet you sent me, JJ, is a compilation of all the rankings, correct? And
well, it's sorted by net, but then you can see, the BPI, the Ken Palm, the wins in the quadrants,
who they are,
the quad 3, quad 4, who they are. So just a really good reference thing for having these conversations, because that's what we're doing, man. It's looking at seeding and ceilings and where this team stacks up.
Right now, it basically between 40 and 50 is Utah State, New Mexico, Boise State, San Diego State in different orders, depending on which metric you look at. What it tells you is those 4 teams have to beat the rest of the league. Okay? Tonight you get Boise State hosting San Jose State. Look, dude, San Jose State's beating people. They got shooters, they can beat someone. Right? San Diego State plays at Colorado State on Saturday. Let me just tell you something. Colorado State can beat San Diego State up there. Aztecs haven't been rolling people. Utah State's at Fresno State. You better not lose that game. So it tells you the top of the league's got to keep winning. And that you're not rooting for it. As much as you want to see these teams that are behind you get beat, if you are a fan of the league or fan of your metrics, you want Utah State coming in here beating Fresno State and beating the teams that are in front of them. Even Nevada.
What you just laid out, pretty much between 40 and 50, you're sitting in bubble territory. And you want those numbers to at least stay there for the opportunities ahead when it comes to the games for the Lobos and just those teams keeping the numbers up. They're not as good as last year, and that's where I know some of the frustration comes from what's going to happen. Seeding-wise, well, we know what's going to happen. It's not going to be 6 teams, and don't have any room for error on the resume side right now.
Yeah. What's the number? Is it like 32, 34 at-large bids? I mean, there's not that many at-larges. When you start looking at there's 68 teams and, 33, 34 conferences, they get automatic bids. There's just not that many opportunities. So keep winning, keep playing, but, man, you're in a good spot right now. All right, when we come back, what's it worth to a coach for winning the national championship? Ryan Day found out today. And a lot of NBA news, including trades and a star getting set to return to the best team in the West. It's the opening drive. We continue on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Saturday on Compass Media Network's coverage of NC.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride barbecue chicken and ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Super Bowl is on Sunday, and it's right here on the Sports Animal. 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Your exclusive home for Super Bowl 59. Coverage starts Sunday morning at 8. Tailgate talk will get you kicked off. Then Westwood One's coverage leads you up to kickoff. Super Bowl 59, Chiefs and Eagles, right here exclusively on the Sports Animal. Two Men On, our afternoon show with Van and Fred, are in New Orleans. They will have their show at 4 o'clock this afternoon from Radio Row. Coverage presented by Cornish Law Injury Lawyers, serving New Mexico for 5 generations. And airport parking, safe, secure, and the best price to park at the airport. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck. J.J., they say to the winner, or the winners, go the spoils. $12.5 million a year is pretty good spoils, don't you think?
That is pretty darn good.
You can spoil yourself, your wife, your kids, your mom, your family, your aunts, your uncles. Ohio State has done that for a guy that right around Thanksgiving time was on the way out. Ryan Day lost for the 4th time as Ohio State coach to Michigan, 4th time in a row. An unranked Michigan team went in and planted their flag in the Big O, in the horseshoe. Ohio State didn't go to the Big Ten championship game. Ryan Day needed to be fired. All they did is go on a run, dominate through the college football playoff, win the national championship. Ohio State and Ryan Day have agreed, JJ, on a 7-year extension. Runs through 2031. His annual salary is bumped to $12.5 million a year, one of the 3 highest paid coaches in football. That's what happens when you win, boys and girls.
Things are changing. You can lose to Michigan and still have a good season.
Remember I read you that poll in the the Columbus Dispatch? And it was after they won the national championship. And it was like 52.3% of the people or something still thought it was more important to beat Michigan than win the national championship. It's insanity. It just shows you what that means to those people. But it's big. All right, NBA news. Lakers have got a center. They traded Dalton Knecht and Cam Reddish in the first-round pick to Charlotte. They get Mark Williams, a 23-year-old center from Duke at 7 feet, averages 16 points, almost 10 rebounds a game. Trade deadline is today, so the Lakers get their center. Jimmy Butler goes to the Warriors in a 4-team deal. Warriors give up Andrew Wiggins and Kyle Anderson and a first-round pick in this year's draft. And then this was something, and we were talking about this yesterday. JJ, Chet Holmgren is set to return from his hip fracture today for the Thunder. He's been out for 3 months. Dude, big guys and injuries. Feet, hips, it's going to be interesting. But to get him back, it was a nasty fall. He fractured his hip. It was in a game against the Warriors back in November. This is kind of a big deal, and I don't even think it's under the radar. I think if he gets into form, you add this to the team who's number 1 in the West right now, they're the team to beat.
They are, and you can love the acquisitions of Luka Doncic, Williams, Butler, like the Thunder or the team to beat, with or without Chet Holmgren. And they get their trade deadline acquisition in Holmgren, who can come in, doesn't have to have a lot of minutes early, probably manage him the rest of the season to be smart. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, front runner for MVP. Like, this just makes it that much tougher in the Western Conference.
They're really good. Really, really good. Earlier, this week? When did the De'Aaron Fox trade happen?
That was
Friday
night.
Sunday night?
Because Luka's was Saturday
night,
and so De'Aaron Fox was Sunday night.
De'Aaron Fox had his debut with the Spurs last night. And he was spectacular. 24 points, 13 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. They win by 1 over the Hawks, 126-125. First time in the history of the Spurs that a player in his debut had at least 20 points and 10 assists. Fox scored or assisted on 56 of their 126 points. Look, they're not going to win a championship this year. I don't even know that they're necessarily going to make the playoffs, although I would bet that they'd make the play-in. They have got a foundation now. You keep those two together, Wembanyama and Fox, and then keep adding through the draft and free agency. Look out for them next year, the year after, the year after.
Oh, of course. Like, Wemby's that dude.
Yeah. Well, and then you just gave him
a dynamic player in De'Aaron Fox, and I like the fact that they were able to keep Chris Paul around, and just the experience and what this team is going to be able to do growing the rest of this season. Like, they're one of those teams you look at and say, all right, how did Oklahoma City become who they were? How did Houston take those steps forward? And San Antonio is following that path.
Houston was horrible 2 years ago. I mean, dreadful, horrible 2 years ago. And they built through the draft. Look, if you draft well, people always, I listened to some stuff yesterday. Man, they get all the picks. What are you going to do with all these picks? Well, you're going to use them as assets to add a piece here and there. And then if you draft well, you can build a hell of a roster, right?
Yes, you can.
I mean, all these guys are coming in the league at some point. If you draft well, you can really, really, really build something, and that's what's going on. All right, 505-246-0610, Super Bowl this week. Who's got the better roster? Are you leaning a certain way in the Super Bowl? Are you leaning to the team with the better roster, the Eagles? Or are you leaning to the team that, until someone beats them, they're still the team?
I'm leaning towards Kansas City.
Okay.
But this might be the time we get to the weekend and of the last couple of games, the last two, where I'm like, all right, it's time for Philly. Because it's not just the better roster. Like, I think Jalen Hurts is playing really good football.
Yep.
Combined with everything else.
I want to lean to Philly because I think I just roster-wise, right? Players make plays. And then I say when players make plays, who makes more plays than Patrick Mahomes, right? How do you bet against him? I think I'm leaning Kansas City. They're a 1-point favorite. Money line, if you take the Eagles, it's even. I do think I like the over at 48.5, and I know that's a thick number. I do think I like it going high. I just looked at the two conference championship games and all the points that were scored in those games. And it feels to me like points are being scored, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's just, and I could be wrong on both ways. But I'm still on that train where, man, they got that guy. Remember when LeBron was playing? And it's like, they got that dude, man. How do you pick against that dude? And he lost, how many times in the finals? Okay. This guy's lost how many times in the Super Bowl? None. Oh, no, he's lost one. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it's when
he did.
The league was still on Brady's payroll. Yeah. So, like, we'll get
now they're on his payroll.
Tom Brady this Super Bowl. And then it will be the changing of the guard because Tom Brady retires.
Yeah.
After that, and then they
they
slide it over to, all right, Patrick, here you go. We're going to hand you everything else.
Yeah. So where are you guys? You can start making your Super Bowl picks too at 505-246-0610. That's the text line and the phone line. And again, the email is Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Lobos win last night. You can respond to what you heard from Jason Eck, the Lobo football coach, is with us today. If you missed it this morning, it'll be over on our website or wherever you get your podcast. Just go to the website, sportsanimалabq.com. Click on the opening drive, and it'll be down there. Jason was I like him. I thought it was good, talking about the 51 new Lobos. I don't know how much, as a football fan, like if you're a Rudy guy, every left tackle and you know their names. As a college football fan, even in the years where guys were staying 4 years, like how many names did you know on a football team? Right? You probably know 7 or 8 of them, maybe 10. Most, you know the quarterback, the running backs, the wide receivers, a couple guys on defense. Right? So 51 new names. Last year was 58. I asked Frank yesterday, right? Did he say 58, 59? Something along those lines? Like, you're turning the roster over completely. This is where my concern was, and I said this to you years back. In college athletics, and I think college athletics has always been different than the pros. Pros, you expect turnover on a roster every year, but not complete turnover. Our fan base is just going to, how are they going to become attached to their teams? And the answer was, well, it's about the name on the front of the uniform, not the name on the back of the uniform, right?
You have to have success.
Fair.
Because as much as we talk about retention and not hurting the transfer portal, why is the Lobo men's basketball as good as they are this season? Yes, they returned Nelly Jr. Joseph and Donovan Dent. Where did Boer Beachanen, C.J. Nolan come from?
Well, but this is the ultimate blend to me. I mean, the retention of Dent, Nelly, and True Washington and Amsil was essential.
But Amsil, where did he come from?
Yeah, no, they all transferred. They transferred in. I totally understand that. But that's why they're better this year, I think, because the retention. And Richard talks about it all the time. That's kind of one of his big talking points is, in this crazy world we live in, retention is a big deal. Being able to keep a guy here, develop him, grow in a system is big. What do they talk about? Get old and stay old in college basketball now? No. All right, what you had to say about Coach X conversation, I'll get you that. You got some thoughts on Lobo basketball last night as well. 505-246-0610. They keep coming in. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
So we're picking.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal, to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of
10, ACC, SEC, and Big 12.
Rolling through a Thursday morning after a Lobo victory, 87-65 over Colorado State last night in the pit. C.J. Nolan, 19 points on 7 for 7 shooting. 3 for 3 from three-point land. Donovan Dent, 19.6 rebounds, 4 assists. Another double-double for Nelly Jr. Joseph. He had 18 points, 11 rebounds. Drew Washington was terrific again, 15 points for him. Lobos are 11-1 in conference play. First time they've been 11-1 in conference play since they were in the WAC back in 1998. You're in on it a lot this morning. Good Thursday morning, fellas. Man, what a great UNM Lobos victory over Colorado State. Donovan Dent was electric, such a versatile player. Lobos improved to 19-4 on the season. I'm loving it. Thanks, Jeff and JJ. It's from John. He says, Dent's the ultimate point guard. He's awesome. This one says, gents, Nelly is in such better condition and stronger than last year. He's become an animal. True is an animal. CJ is an animal. Dent is amazing. And Amsteel's skill set and conditioning is better. Love our bench, too. Go Lobos. It's from Steve. Conditioning. So remember back a year. And Richard Pitino has talked about this quite a bit. The fact that Nelly Jr. Joseph had the visa issue and was stuck in Nigeria. When I say stuck, he couldn't get here. He went home to Nigeria and missed not only just the conditioning, missed the first part of camp. And I think, didn't he get in like the day of the first exhibition game last year?
That is correct.
Right? There's a reason whether or not that
I practiced too early, Jeff.
I was just going there. Whether or not that emailer is going to tell me that they practiced too early. There's a reason teams have camps, have conditioning, have off-season workouts, right? You hear them talk about all the time, especially teams that win. That's why we put in all that work in the summer. That's why all of that. There's a reason for that. And Richard's talked quite a bit about having Nelly here in the summer, have him here for full conditioning, have him here for individual workouts. And I think what you're seeing is the benefit of that, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, why does everybody do it? Because that's how you get better. So, yeah, that's what you're seeing, Steve. And I think it's showing. And the guy's turned into what I believe is the best big man in the league. All right, we had Jason Eck on earlier today. He is the Lobo football coach. Announced yesterday 51 new Lobo football players, 34 transfers, 17 high school players. They're not done. They'll go through spring practice, then the portal will open again, and some guys will leave, some guys will come. A little bit of an FCS all-star team in some respects, and I think that's okay. This one says, Lobo football, they're just names on paper until we see what they can do. Simple as that. You can choose to take a positive approach to the program or a negative approach to the program. It's a choice. Most New Mexicans prefer to point fingers so they can put themselves in a position to say, I told you so. I will still buy season tickets and cheer for my team because they are my team. Okay? Appreciate that. Mud says Coach Eck is a proven winner, so yes. Oh, yeah, I read this earlier because somebody said before you wet yourself over Eck. He says, yes, I'm wetting myself and don't care who knows it. Carl will be eating his words after the season and will need it. Depends. Okay. J-Rod says, just like Dampier, I think Donovan Dent has to leave next year. He's maximized everything he can do at UNM. But that said, I love Dent and want the best for him. Does he have to leave? Let me just tell you, man, Donovan Dent can get to the NBA out of here, and he can get paid a lot of money out of here, too. Now, is there more money in NIL somewhere? I don't know, man. Maybe. This one says, I think the Mountain West gets 3 teams. Lobos have 3 quad 4 and 1 quad 3s left. Not many teams fighting for a spot have this many. Yep. They got opportunities. You got to win San Diego State. You got to win in Boise. You got Utah State coming in. Gabriel says Kendrick Lamar is going to win the Super Bowl. Good chance of that as well. What's your halftime? 505-246-0610 is how to get in today. That's where these are coming in. Those texts code at 505-246-0610. Emails at Jeff at sportsanimallabq.com and JJ at sportsanimallabq.com. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Mike? Let me do that again. Hello,
You're taking
Mike.
my call.
Yeah.
Yo, guys, thanks for taking my call. Thank you. Good morning. So you know I'm not like a tried and true Lobo fan. I'm a transport. I'm not from here. So, but watching the team this year, just as compared to last year, everything that you're talking about is absolutely true. I agree with you. One thing I want to say, though, is Donovan Dent. This is exactly the kind of player that allows your team to make a tournament run. And, this is kind of like, he's just that guy. You know what I mean? And then from hearing him on interviews with you guys and stuff and just watching the games now, me and my family, we watch all the games. Great game last night. I mean, that is the kind of dude that you got to have on your squad that can win a game by himself, can also, like, bring up the locker room. He's leading the league. He's just that's what it takes, what it takes to make a deeper run in the NCAA tournament. And I think, yes, the Lobos get there. I think that they've really got their foot on the throat of this conference. They should annihilate it like they do and maybe even win the tournament, boom, and make a deep run. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Yeah, no, appreciate you. I've said this for years, and I firmly believe this. Like, you need a big guy, and big guys are good, and you're going to run, like, Michigan's big, Connecticut's big, Gonzaga's big, right? JJ, historically, and you can find exceptions to this, and that's fine. Historically, the NCAA tournament has been won with really good guard play. Go back through the years and some of the great teams. Great guard play, floor generals winning the NCAA tournament. And I've been telling you this for a long time. I know he's not on the Kuzi watch list. Donovan Dent was a great floor general. He's a great point guard. He handles the ball well. He's composed well. Yeah, there are a few turnovers. He had a few last night. Not many. What do you have last night? Turnovers 2? Yeah.
That's nothing. For
yeah, I'm fine with a point guard having a couple. And one of them was a pass where he thought, I forgot who it was going to cut to the bucket and just didn't on a fast break. But I like what he says, because if you go back historically through the NCAA tournament, the really good teams have really good guard play. Now, you need bigs, you need size, and I know that somewhat contradicts what I've been telling you why I think they're so much better. You've got they're bigger guards. Defensively, it's going to help them. This is why I think they're better prepared going in this year than last. And I love mashing house. JJ, what was the biggest reason Clemson beat them last year, besides they couldn't make shots in that game?
Got beat up.
They got beat up physically, right? Clemson was just bigger, not just inside, but on the perimeter, right? Now you got a C.J. Nolan and a true Washington guard in the perimeter. You're bigger. You got an even better Nelly Jr. Joseph, but you don't have to completely rely on him, and you can play through the post. Look, I'm not telling you you win a national championship. Richard has done a really good job of identifying what has kept them from getting to the next level and fixing it. Remember what the issue was 2 years ago? They weren't good enough defensively. They got way better defensively last year, didn't they? Right? They weren't good enough 2 seasons ago defensively. They got better last year. They weren't big enough last year to get to where they are. Now, are they big enough this year? We'll see. But they're certainly bigger and more physical, especially on the perimeter. And you got a couple of dogs, dude. I mean, True Washington is a dog.
There's a reason he was on the floor, man. Like, even with the shooting slumps. He was like, oh, bench him. Like, no, there's coach, like, they know what's up. Like, there's sometimes you can get by forcing a couple shots. The coach will have the conversation with you because of what you bring. And he brings it defensively.
What do you make of, at the end of the game, Jovan Milicevic is on the floor?
Well, I think that was Stoff took a couple tough shots, and he was limping a little bit.
Okay. With the foot?
Yeah.
Okay. Hunter made this point on the broadcast yesterday, and I think he's right. The way Richard's bringing Jovan Milicevic along, his minutes are increasing as a freshman as he continues to grow. I think he's doing a really nice job with that young man.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll say, I know, Stoff had some air balls, but you look and saw the second most rebounds on the team, and that's what's important. Is he didn't let that affect his overall game. There's still plenty of energy there defensively. was grabbing the boards, and he wasn't a negative in the plus minus. He was able to get by as a zero for this team. But, that's the mark of a good team. And Rich Pitino talked about it a little bit post-game. It's just down the stretch, that's the lineup he was comfortable with. It was, some of it, of course, offensively with Stoff, but then understanding what he's dealing with the foot. Once you got control of that game, that made a ton of sense to finish it out with that lineup.
Yeah, there was a 1-3 that Mustafa took, a deep 3 with about 4 left on the shot clock, that he airballed by about 2 feet. It was did it get blocked? And Richard was right in front of me, and you could see he's like, "What was that?" He pulled him immediately. I'm not even sure he came back after that. That could have been the foot. All right, 505-246-0610. We'll wrap it up when we get back. Everything you got to know as you go through your Thursday, which is going to be trade deadline day. The National Basketball Associations will hit that for you. Hey, how's your car looking as you're driving around? Like you're in it right now. Go yeah, I know. Mine too. I'm due for on-the-spot automotive detailing as well. You probably are as well. On-the-spot automotive detailing comes out and details your vehicle. What does that mean? Inside, outside, around the rims, under the hood, under the seats, all those places you don't get. Even if you do, they're better. I'm just telling you, as good as you are, they're better. They're the best. They're best in the city because, well, they're best in the city. That's why they earned that. Valentine's Day is around the corner. You're going to take that special someone out. Make sure your car is up to speed. Make sure it's up to par. Make sure it's what she deserves or he deserves. Make sure your vehicle is right. It's one of your biggest investments. On-the-spot automotive detailing comes to you where it works for you, when it works for you, and they detail your vehicle. You're working, you're busy, me too. They're out in the parking lot, they're busy too. You get a text, you go outside, boom, your car looks and feels and smells like the day you took it off the lot. New car feeling without the new car price. On-the-spot automotive detailing, book and buy online. It's all right there at otsdetailing.com, otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oakey. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
All season from the Big Ten, ACC, SEC, and Big 12.
Interesting story out this morning by Brian Windhorst of ESPN saying that there was a deal in place for Kevin Durant to go to the Warriors and Jimmy Butler to Phoenix, but Kevin Durant made it very clear he did not want to go back to Golden State, and that deal blew up, and now Jimmy Butler's a Warrior. Kevin Durant stays where he is. Opening drive, Jeff Simieta, J.J. Buck coming off a Lobo victory, 87-65 last night over Colorado State, another convincing one. 505-246-0610. Jeffrey, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Good day, sir.
I'm good. I'm still recovering from the late game last night, but I wanted to revisit kind of an obvious point, but for those that weren't at the game or didn't see the game, notwithstanding the fact that Lobos, had a convincing win at the end by 20, 22 points, that game was in the balance with it even, like 9 minutes to go or something. Lobos only had a 4-point lead at half. And, as somebody who's been a 45-plus year fan, I was pretty concerned about the Lobos possibly not winning that game up until that run. One of the differences between this team, and it's been talked about, but I think it's worth, again, revisiting, is the depth of the team. Not even that 78-79 team with Michael Cooper and Phil Abney and those guys. That particular team only had a couple of players deep, like 2 players, for example. This team has at least 8, possibly even 9 players deep, because let's be honest about it. Amzil did not have a good game, and he was replaced intermittently with that 6'10 guy from Serbia, I think. I forget his name.
Milicevic.
Yeah, there you go. And when's the last time a Lobo team had a guard like, Dotson or Nolan or a 6'10 guy coming in to replace players that aren't performing well? And that's one of the distinctive differences between this team, and it's been revisited before. But again, it's the depth of the team and the quality of interchangeability of other players when the starters aren't, performing well.
Yeah, there's a lot to that.
And I'm happy, man. I'm encouraged, and I think this team can do well if we get in the tournament. I really believe this is one of the teams in the history of the Lobo program that can actually win maybe 1, perhaps 2 games in the NCAA tournament. But let's cross that bridge when we get there. But and my final point, I really appreciate the way you call the games, Jeff. And it's not just because I know you and any of that stuff, but I really like stylistically the way you call the games, and hopefully at some point that can become a permanent situation.
I appreciate
Thank you.
the kind words. Thank
and
you.
Go Lobos.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I enjoy that. When you sit around and do the post-game show, right, and the gym empties, so you see a lot of things, and you do this with the women a lot. Cade Dotson, who I really like, okay, I've got to know him a little bit. I really like the young man. But I like the minutes, the few minutes that he's getting. I think if he stays, he's the point guard of the future, right? Hopefully there's some patience there. I know there's probably frustration because he's not getting a lot of minutes. He's playing behind one of the best point guards in the country. What was one of the legends of Cam Bairstow?
Post-game workouts.
Post-game workouts. After the game, Cam Bairstow would play 37 minutes in a game and then go to the weight room and work out. And after the game, as the place is emptying out, Jovan Milicevic and Cade Dotson are out there with the manager shooting. Jovan just hit 2 out of his three-pointers and had 6 points. Cade Dotson didn't play a lot, but he's working on his game. And I don't know, it's just something to me about when nobody, and I say nobody's watching. I mean, not a lot of people are watching. The media's all upstairs in the media room talking to the coach, right? The fans are in their cars on their way home. And after a game, I got 2 guys out there, and they grab a manager, and they're out working on shots. That, I don't know, that says something to me.
It's good to see.
I like, yeah. JJ, in this world, I don't know who's going to be here tomorrow, let alone next year. And while your 2 best players are veterans, a junior and a 5th-year guy, they got some really good young players if they can keep them around.
Absolutely. This is what you want to see in a program, is able to mesh both the portal and the ability to bring in some young guys to develop. And, Richard Pitino, over the last 2 seasons with the players he's brought in, it's longer than that, because look at Donovan Dent, being his junior season, has been able to win in both areas.
Yeah, that's one of those things that impressed me. And Jeffrey talking about the depth. What did he play last night? He went
7.
So I mean,
Cade Dotson played 67 seconds.
Yeah, I know. And I really like him. I'd love for Cade to play more, but and Atikula played 2:14 last night.
So here's the thing: if dude's healthy, he can handle it. He's not huffing and puffing. Why are you going to take Dent off the floor?
No, I totally, and it's Donovan Dent. I'm not even sure I realized the minutes that were played last night. I'm looking at the wrong sheet. Where's the final?
Yeah, so it was essentially, Jovan in the second half played big minutes down the stretch. He finished with 18 minutes off the bench.
And
CJ
Nolan
played
with
22.
Yeah. Atiki played 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes, and Dotson got a minute. Yeah. Boy, your starters played some minutes last night. Donnie went 37 minutes.
About Nelly, man. Your center was 37-46 on the floor. 5 blocks, 3 steals. Looks like he could have played another 15.
It did, and it's amazing when he stays out of foul trouble, too. But Utah State, he was in foul trouble and missed, I think it was 6:22 of the first half at Utah State where he went out. Keeping him out of foul trouble is a big deal. I think Atiki's going to be good. He's just not Nelly Jr. Joseph, right? And the big difference, like for instance, there was a short stretch where Nikola Joppa went in, one of the bigs for Colorado State, and they went to Nelly 3 times in a row and just backed that guy down. There's nothing they could do about Nelly Jr. Joseph. Right? And there's a difference between, especially in this league, between your first guys and your second guys. There just is. And you're seeing it. Good win last night. Lobos next up. They'll go to Air Force and ride on it. You're going to go up to Vegas. When do you leave, tomorrow?
Yes.
All right. Lady Lobos are in Vegas. I did get some emails on them, talking about what they've got to do. That's a silly one. I'm not going there. But just so you know, Jeremy's not watching the Super Bowl. He's hoping to get a lead to a quickie loop place and doesn't cost $100, so he can go get his oil change. So that's actually a really good time. That'd be a great time to go to the Jiffy Lubes. Go to the grocery store, man. If you're not watching the game, go out and get stuff done, or you don't have to stand in line. Go get some maintenance stuff for yourself. I think that's really good. Anything else we missed today? The big trades in the NBA. We'll get into the NFL stuff tomorrow. Chip Kelly back in, and he's excited to be there with Pete Carroll and a bunch of the NFL stuff that you had on the list. I know we didn't get that today, but Thought it was hoops. Big day for Lobo basketball. And this town's excited. Man, last night you had like 30 legislators came down from Santa Fe to the game. Ooh. The mayor was at the game last night. Everybody's jumping on board now, you know?
No, now we'll see the mayor.
Yeah, look, man. He was out there shaking hands and kissing babies.
Try to shoot some free throws and take shots during timeouts?
Yeah, I bet that would probably be right. Yeah, if they let him. I'm the damn mayor. Thanks to Jerry Palm. He was with us today. Jason Eck, the Lobo football coach, was here as well. The Jim Rome Show is next. No, it's not. The Herd with Colin Cowherd is next. The Jim Rome Show follows that. That'll be at 1 o'clock. 2 Men On is live from Radio Row at New Orleans at the Super Bowl. That's at 4 o'clock. We're back with award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. tomorrow. You've got Lobo Talk today, don't you, at 6 o'clock today?
Lobo Talk out at Sandia, 6 o'clock.
Go by and see JJ and coaches Patino and Bradbury. Say hello to them out at Sandia Sports Bar. Great work, Adrian, on the visuals. Big day for you.
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Hey, be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
Progressive Commercial.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is